Hello and welcome back to a new video. Today is a video that I don't do very often, which is a wrap up, and I'm gonna do a wrap up of all 4 first months of the year: January, February, March and April. Let's get into it. I usually don't do this because I don't read that much, so I never do like monthly wrap up. If you would like to see them, please let me know, but my wrap ups are like max 5 books a month, so more like 3 to 4. So I think it's boring, but you can let me know. This way we have like the best of both worlds, you know? I in fact didn't do the calculations of how many pages I read and so on. Can you let a website do that? In the first 4 months of the year, I read 14 books, which is okay. My challenge this year was 35 books, and I'm 3 books ahead of schedule, so we're doing good with the goal, which I'm happy because last year I didn't complete it. For anyone else who might not know this, you can actually go onto the desktop version of Goodreads and literally look at all of your stats, so you don't have to calculate. And I always thought I had to calculate them, but that's perfect. I know some people don't like stats because it makes like reading less fun, but I love to hear them. So let's get into the stats. I read 14 books so far this year. I had 3 5 stars, 7 4 stars. I do have like 4.25, 4.5. I will get into that, all the details about every book, but just like a general overview. 2 3 stars, 1 2 star, and 1 1 star. The amount of pages that I read in the first 4 months were 4,068. And now let's get into all of the books and all of my thoughts about the books. I started off the year with a Kindle read, which I haven't done lately. I really want to get back into my Kindle. I love reading on my Kindle. I read Consider Me by Becca Mack. I actually started that last year, but that book took me forever to get through. It's about a hockey player and a high school teacher, and it's basically a hockey romance, which I love, but I did think it was way too long. In the beginning, I was like, this is a 5-star book, this is a 5-star book. It really got me out of my reading slump because I was in a reading slump, and a really bad one, and it got me out of it, and I was like, this is 5 stars, this is great, I'm loving it. But then it was just too long of a book. I thought it dragged, and I thought there were way too many spice scenes. Like the tearing of clothes occurred at least 10 times, which wasn't my vibe. I'm definitely not a closed door girly. Give me the smut. I like smut, but it has to be, how do I word this? It has to make sense in the plot, and I don't just want to read straight up smut. Otherwise I would go for a smut book. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, I'm sorry, but that's why I gave the book 4 stars. It was still really good, and I still loved it, but I just had like those 1 or 2 aches about it, which just didn't justify a 5-star to me. Next, I finished one of my absolute favorite series. Like, I'm literally smiling. I'm so giddy about this. If you know me, you probably know what I read. The Mindfuck series, book 4 and 5 in the series. I finished it off. I also read it on my Kindle. I actually don't have the book, which is a crime because that is like my top book of all time. If you didn't see, I actually made a playlist for Lana Myers. I did already link it in a different video, but I am gonna link it down below again because I just love Lana Myers. I love her energy, and I'm obsessed with that woman. I love also how short and fast and quick the books are. It definitely got me kind of into my dark romance era, which I am currently in the middle of. The 4th book I gave 5 stars. That book was exquisite. To be honest, I don't know if it was book 4 or 5 because they just mixed into each other, but there's this one scene, it's like kind of like a fight scene. It's not really a fight scene, but you know what I mean. And they, in the book, they tell you a song, and please, if you do read this book, please do me the favor, put on that song that they actually said and listen to it while reading that scene. It makes the scene so much better. But also, I just love Lana. I never loved the female character more than the male character. And the male character, I'm sorry, but he fucked up. We did excuse him because he did have a little redemption arc, but I loved her way more. I loved her so much that I literally justified giving the fourth one 5 stars, even though it's just like 200 pages. The last one is 4.75. The only thing why I bumped it down to a 4.75 is the ending. I didn't completely love the ending, but like I don't want to say anything bad about these books because I love this series. Next up, I read my first physical book of the year, and we started with a bang with Flawless by Elsie Silver. I do have the mirror covers for the other books, just not for this one. I actually read it on my Kindle as well half of the time I didn't, but this is like not floppy at all. This is like a stiff UK paperback, so it was so like tough to read and not crack the spine, and as you know, I cracking the spine. I did actually annotate it, but I got lazy because I was reading it on the Kindle and then I just got lazy with actually highlighting and writing in the book. Flawless is about Rhett, the bull rider, and Summer, who's his agent. Rhett basically did something to damage his image, and now his agent has to kind of babysit him, which obviously this broody bull riding man doesn't absolutely love. So this is like kind of Crumpy Sunshine. The theme of like this cowboy romance bull riding, I loved the scenery. I also loved the Fawn family in this book. It was so good. The writing was so quick and easy to get through. I'm definitely going to continue with Elsie Silver's books. I'm so glad that I like this because I have the whole series and I really do want to read these books because they just sound right up my alley. Small town cowboy romance. Exquisite. I gave this book 4.25 stars just because I didn't absolutely love the characters together. Like 4.25 is still a great rating, but I just didn't completely feel their connection. So I'm interested to see which out of the books are my favorite. But just judging from this one, I think maybe, what's his name? Theo. I kind of feel like I love Theo the most and I'll enjoy his book, but I have no idea what the other books are about because I haven't read them. So I don't know if that's true. That's just judging from the appearances he made in this book. But yeah, I'm very excited to continue with the Chestnut Spring series. Next, I actually started filming my Reading Dark Romance for a Week video. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it up above. You can go watch that. I gave way more in-depth thoughts and feelings about these books, so if you want more opinions about these books, you can definitely head on over there. But I started off with Butcher and Blackbird simply because I thought this was the lightest of the dark romances, and everyone said it was kind of like Mindfuck series. I get, do I don't get the same feeling as the Mindfuck series. I love this book, don't get me wrong. I thought it was so funny, but this was kind of like a dark romantic comedy, like a dark rom-com, and I feel like Mindfuck series definitely isn't that. So I feel like this is very different and it shouldn't be marketed as, if you love Mindfuck series, you will probably love this, but as in like if you want something like Mindfuck series, read this. That's, in my opinion, it just isn't true. But it's about these two serial killers that start a competition, and whoever kills the criminal that they're hunting first wins that year, and they're doing that once a year, every year, until they turn into something more than just a competition. And this book was so funny. I literally sat there in my bed laughing out loud while reading this book, and that's like always a great sign. I thought it was so easy to read. I loved the writing. I literally didn't have one single bad thing to say about this book, except for that it's marketed a little bit wrong, and I was let down because I really thought this was gonna give me Lana Myers. So I gave this book a 4.5 simply because it didn't give me the 5-star feeling, but that's it. Next, continue on with that video as well. I read The Predator, which is part of the Dark Verse series by Runix. No idea how to pronounce his name. This book, spoiler, I gave 5 stars. 5 stars. such a good book, such a good book. If you pick up one of the dark romances, please pick up this one because it's a whole series. If you like this, you still have a whole series to continue with, and it's so good. Like in the beginning I was a bit confused and it took me a bit to get into this book, but the broodiness of him but still being so respectful with children and women, I just fell in love. I fell in love with this guy. And like honestly, out of all the dark romances, I don't want any of the guys, but I want him. I want him. This is about Tristan Kane and Marana. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but they're basically from rival families. She wrote some codes that could cause quite a bit of damage, and she tracked it back to Tristan Kane, which is why she wants to kill him now. And what happens from there on out, you'll have to find out, because you have to read this book. I did actually annotate it, I just didn't pop sticky notes in it. I just love this book so much. Like I could talk about it for hours. The next book that I read, like I was on a reading high. I had like such a good time reading these past months. I read my first Abby Jimenez book, which is Part of Your World. I wanted to start with this one because I wanted to read Yours Truly, but I didn't want to read it before I read Part of Your World. I gave this book 5 stars as well. I love this. I like, after the dark romance books, I needed like a fun little romance. This was not a fun little romance. This was deep. This hit me. Like I bawled my eyes out. I did read this on a reading vlog as well, and that video is out as well. I'll pop it in the info box if you want to see my in-depth reactions. But I don't know how Abby Jimenez does it, but the way she describes characters, like the meet cute was literally in the first scene, which I love because I don't love a lot of info dumping and like building up the story. If I have to get into the book, I just want them to meet and then I'll figure out along the way. And that's exactly what she does. And the way she like creates such like fleshed out characters that are flawed but still so perfect for each other. Like the themes in this book, like day and night, and they're so contrary, but still they work, and it seems like unconditional love. And that's probably why I'm single and why I should stop reading these romance books, because no one in this world is like these fictional characters. And I'll have to come to terms with that, but not today. 5 stars. Please read this one as well. If you take like 2 books from this whole, actually 3, 1 more to come, but if you take like any recommendations from this one, The Predator, and 1 more. Thank you. Next, I read 2 little novellas in the, what is it called? Improbable Meet Cute? Not So Meet Cute? Let me look that up. The Improbable Meet Cute bind up series of novellas. I read The Worst Wingman Ever by Abby Jimenez, and then Drop Cover and Hold On by Jasmine Guillory. I hope I didn't butcher that name. But the first one, The Worst Wingman Ever, I had to read that because it's by Abby Jimenez, and I was on a plane and I was looking for something to read on my Kindle, and I had just finished Part of Your World and I just needed her writing again, so I was looking for something that she wrote that was quick and easy. I gave this novella 3 stars, and 3 stars is good for a novella. I think this book has like 120 pages, so that's not long at all, but it was such a nice story. And I just can't emphasize enough how much I love Abby Jimenez writing. Like, I know I've only read like 1.5 books by her, but she's quickly become like one of my top authors, together with like maybe, I don't know, Devaney Perry and Emily Henry, I think. But yeah, I loved that one. And then I carried on with Drop Cover and Hold On, because I feel like these novellas are so fun and quick and easy for a plane ride, and I only had like an hour and a half. But this one was, I think, 60 pages or 40 pages, and I just think that wasn't enough. Like, I didn't love the writing, I didn't love the characters, and I just thought there wasn't much to the story. But then again, that could be because of the page count, but that's why I give this one 1 star. So sorry. These are also all free on Audible if you want to listen to them rather than read them, but I'm not an audiobook girly, so I didn't. Next, we had We'll Always Have Summer. This is going to be in a video that's not out yet, but will be hopefully soon. More in-depth thoughts again in that video, but since it's not out yet, let me explain. This is the last book in the Summer I Turned Pretty series. I needed to finish it because I do actually really want to watch watched the series. I think the second one is still my favorite because I thought that was so emotional. That book was, I mean, I cried in this one as well, but that book was so emotional. This book also kind of got me liking Conrad because before I was a Jeremiah girly through and through, and I didn't understand why everyone was like, I hate Jeremiah and I love Conrad. Now I do kind of get it, but I don't hate Jeremiah. He is like such a nice boy, and Conrad is just brooding. But then again, I also don't love brooding men. I feel like I know this is not even controversial, but this is definitely not the opinion of most romance reading girlies, but I like a golden retriever boy. I just do. Like, I always want to like the brooding ones, but then I love the golden retrievers. I just think Conrad just like Conrad played too many games, in my opinion, and Jeremiah was just so cute. So I have to say, like, now I understand the hype for Conrad, but I'd still say I'm more Jeremiah. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, the take care of them, Connie. I'm counting on you. That killed me. That killed me. I was bawling my eyes out. I don't know if I got it on camera, but I was bawling. I was bawling. But yeah, 4 stars. Great series, would definitely recommend, even though I don't like YA at all. The next book that I finished was the last book in the Reading Dark Romance for a Week series, and I had to take a break because it was Hunting Adeline. Hunting Adeline. Everyone literally is scarred from this book, I feel like, but this book is also so widely loved. Like, before I started reading this, I didn't know. I thought everyone was traumatized by this book and like just wanted to read it because they thought, what the fuck is this book? But like, a lot of people actually really love it, and I get it. I have to say I get it. Like, the themes of this book is dark. This is seriously dark. Like, in Germany they don't sell this book under 18, but if that doesn't tell you anything, but this book is dark, so you're like, please. Like, I never read trigger warnings, never, but please do it for this book because some themes, like in the middle, I wanted to DNF this book because it was too dark for me. But the male main character, I don't want to tell you his name, but the male main character, oh, I love him. I have to say I love him. I hate him and I love him because he has like this, he has like this one quality in this book, like his job, his whole life goal, which makes him so cute, that I love. The way he treats her, don't love that. But I definitely said before I read this book, I definitely said I'm not gonna pick up the sequel to this series. I am going to. I'm gonna have to. The cliffhanger at the end, you will have to pick up the second book. I'm so sorry, but you will have to. If you don't know what this book is about, I would recommend going in completely blind because that's what I did. I had no idea. But it's basically a stalker romance where he stalks her, and we follow a mystery in this book, which that was my favorite part about this book, not the romance but the mystery. And we also follow his life story and goal, which is also interesting. So we have like 3 plot lines that run simultaneously, which that made the book really good. But now to the buts, you know? It was dark. It was hella dark. There was assault and rape, in my opinion, so I couldn't give it more than 3.5, even though I did enjoy it and I enjoyed my time reading it. These following books are also all in a 24-hour readathon that's going to come out so soon. It's probably going to be the video after this video, so if you want all my in-depth thoughts on that, head on over there. I read the novella With Any Luck by Ashley Poston. I've actually never read a book by her, but I'm intrigued too. I didn't love the novella, but it was so short that I can't really say anything about the author, you know? I give this book 2 stars at novella. This novella 2 stars, but nothing crazy, but also not bad, and it was a good palate cleanser. Moving on to one of my favorite series of the year. I think this is gonna be like, after Mindfuck series, this is probably gonna, maybe even this is before, I can't tell you. Please don't ask me to choose between my favorite children, because I can't and I won't. It's The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I never wanted to read this because, as I told you, I'm not a YA girly. I love these books. These books are seriously so fun. If you don't know what these books are about, they're basically FBI Criminal Minds for teenagers. Like, what? There are these 5 children, teenagers, they're 17. They all have gifts. So 2 of them are natural profilers, 1 is a human lie detector, 1 is an emotion reader, and 1 is a walking encyclopedia. She knows like the facts and statistics. And these 5 basically get recruited to live in this house and work on cold cases, but that quickly evolves to active cases. They also get involved in these cases because they pertain to some of them. I'm not gonna say more, but yeah, I gave the first one, The Naturals, a 4.5. I know everyone says this is just like an introduction, so you can't give, so everyone gives less for this than this, but I thought this one was better, so I gave this one a 4.25 and this one a 4.5. I just enjoyed the storyline in this one better, and I did not guess the killer. This one, I guessed parts of it, so still great. Like, overall, this series is a 5-star series. I binged these in like maybe 3 days, 2.5 days, something like that. I could not stop reading, and I was like, I need to finish. I'm currently on the 3rd book, and I need to finish the series in order to get my life back. That's what I was thinking. So yeah, I loved it. Those were all the books that I read. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you read some of these, please let me know in the comments what you thought about them. If you have the same opinions or very different to me. I always love chatting about books, and if you have any like similar books to the books that I said that I loved, also let me know, because I'm always looking for new recommendations. And though I shouldn't add to my physical DVR. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye.